Okay, thanks for all being here. I will wait a few more seconds until the latest persons are sitting, and then I will start with a keynote. My name is Nuvelstijn. I'm 30 years old. I will give today the keynote about the crypto exchange of the future. And I think my assumption is blockchain technology will become big. And I think before I would like to start with my keynote, I'm briefly interested in the audience here. How many people don't agree that blockchain technology becomes big? So if people don't believe it becomes big, please put your hands up in the air so we know how convincing I need to be or how flexible I can be. If the full audience is already convinced, that makes it way easier, but I will still give you my keynote. So I think when we started with our company 5 years ago, I personally was not yet convinced about blockchain technology. So I need to admit, when I started 5-6 years ago with our company, and we are currently one of the biggest crypto exchanges in Europe, we were not yet fully convinced. We started 5-6 years ago, we saw what cryptos were doing, but we didn't yet understand how powerful blockchain technology can become. And I think over the last 5-6 years, we learned way more about it, due to which we are fully convinced that it will become big. In the next few slides, I will try to explain you why, and why it is so important that not only crypto exchanges, but also financial institutions need to embrace it if they would like to make impact in the future. And the first reason is, let's say, the underlying technology. So the reason why, in our view, blockchain technology will become big is the underlying technology. If you compare the technology with most other technologies used, it's in our view more efficient and superior. So with blockchain technology, you can settle transactions on an instant basis. You can do it on a trustworthy basis where no third parties can intervene, and it's way better scalable. I think if you compare it with the stock market, in a stock market, most trades are still settled on a T+1 or a T+2 basis, which is delayed. If you look to the payment scheme, in the payment scheme, fiat transfers are still settled on a T+1 or a T2+2 basis. That's mainly due to the underlying technology. So in our view, the technology from the blockchain is so much more efficient that it will always have an edge, due to which it always become really powerful for over the long term. Most of the people around will then ask, if it's such a great technology, why is it not yet embraced already? Why is it not yet already embraced in society, and why is not yet everybody using it at the moment? So I think if we go to the next slide, innovation takes time. It's sad, but it's true. If we compare it with the internet, I think the internet started somewhere around 1980s, 1990s, and it only became big somewhere early 2000. I think if you compare it with self-driving cars are nowadays around for around 5-ish years, but it still takes quite some time before you can fully drive autonomously. I think if you look to Telefonica, phones were already there before 2000. It took more than 20 years before mobile phones became big. The same applies for blockchain technology. So blockchain technology is already around for around 5-10 years, but it takes way more time for the people to embrace it. I think in the last 5 years, you already saw that crypto companies started to embrace it. I think you see more and more financial institutions already embracing it. I think if you look to JP Morgan, but also central banks and other institutions, more and more financial institutions are using the underlying technology to settle transactions faster. And I think that's a great approach, but it will take longer before it becomes big. What does that mean for exchanges? For us as an exchange, we use the underlying technology. That means we can settle transactions really fast for both trading purposes and payment purposes. But that's only the beginning. That's only the beginning of where we think that the world will go to. So nowadays we are a trading platform. Over time, we step by step expect that our services are not only used for trading purposes, but also for payment purposes. We expect that we not only offer those services for crypto assets itself, but step by step also more for real world assets. I think in the world you see more and more stable coins. I think you see more and more T-bills who are tokenized. I think you see more and more tokenized stocks. And I think that's only the beginning. I think over time you might see real estate and all other real world assets who will be tokenized. Besides, let's say, all financial instruments, which over time might be tokenized, I think secondly what you will see is that it will step by step more embraced with the internet. So what you saw during 2021 and 2022 is that you, for example, had NFTs and other kind of things where people could use those values to connect them to their social media account and others. In our view, you will step by step go to a more virtual world. where people have online accounts where they embrace their personality with, where they can show their identity, where they can show their value. So I think in our view, blockchain technology is superior. It will make a huge impact. It will make things way more faster, way more efficient. Because due to the efficiencies, it will win over the long term. So it will win from all old school technologies currently used by financial institutions. It will take a lot of time before it is fully embraced by the society. And I think once it is embraced, it will become way bigger than people currently expect. So it will not only be used for crypto assets itself. In our view, it will also be used for financial instruments, fiat funds, over time for real estate. It will even be used for social media. And I think we compare the blockchain technology mainly with the internet. When internet became big, early 2000s, people couldn't expect how big it became, and it only became big over time. You first had the dot-com bubble. During the dot-com bubble, all internet companies collapsed. You might have seen the same with the crypto companies during last year, where a lot of crypto companies collapsed. And over time, all the strong crypto companies who are able to survive those waves, they will bring way more value. And step by step, you will see this technology be used by a substantial bigger part of the society. That's our true belief. We are working hard with our company to make it happen. And we really embrace those kind of events where way more people are keen to make it happen. That's my story. Before I started, I asked if people still need to be convinced. I didn't give a huge speech because you guys were all convinced, but does any of you still have any questions?
Curious, you're going to be an exchange for real-world assets. How you're doing that? Is that solely for Europe in terms of regulatory kind of capabilities, and how you're approaching that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we are Netherlands-based. We are currently regulated by the Dutch Central Bank. I think due to those regulatory requirements, we are heavily focused on Europe and also outside Europe. That means that we offer our service mainly here in Europe, which will also be the case for the next several years. I think over time, crypto companies might go even broader because the underlying technology is so scalable, but it's the next step. I think besides from that, all those services are really connected. So if you trade, for example, Bitcoin on our platform, it's so connected with the rest of the market that is really efficient. Compared to stock markets, where things are way more closed, I think that's slightly different. So there will be space for multiple companies per continent, given the efficiencies of the underlying technology. And thanks for your question.
Great. Thank you very much, Mark.